Sing ciao everybody, welcome back. You're watching Vietnam Steve, and I got a good one for you today. I'm down at the flower park. I'm going to walk around here, get the 5 kilometers in, and I'm going to talk to you about something that I do every time I travel. I've got a list of 15 or so things that is my checklist for travel, so that I don't have to put them in my brain. I can just run down this list, make sure everything's done, and I know I'm good to go. So this would be really useful for you if you travel regularly, or if you are planning on coming to Vietnam here and you're just about to leave. You could jot this list down, run down the list, and make sure you've got everything covered. So come along with me. I'm opposite the Vincom shopping centre here, and going to spend my day walking through the park here, telling you what's on my mind. Now just let me change hands for a moment, because I've got to put the walking app on my watch here, so that I can make sure that I've done 5. So it's a beautiful park, this one, and you may or may not be able to see up above there is a there's a walking path, and usually I walk around that each evening. It's going to be a little bit warm now. We're sitting on about 30 degrees, and it feels a lot hotter than that. So first things first, if I'm about to head off in my travels, I notify the banks that I might want to use when I'm in a foreign country. Now each of those banks have a different way of doing that. One of them has a set button to push. One of them gets you just to put a message in the message app that they have, and another one has a drop down menu where you pick off the countries you're going to travel to and how long you're going to be there. So I notify the banks, and that way when I use my card overseas, it'll work. They won't block me. Now I only use one of the cards overseas, but I take 3, and that's because I always like to have a backup, particularly if one gets stolen by a machine. You want to be able to still get your money out. So I take 3. I test them all when I get to my destination. Use one bank the first time, another bank the second time, and another bank the third time. But there is one that I use mainly because it has no foreign transaction fees and no overseas ATM fees. So number 1, notify the banks, let them know you're going. Make sure your cards are going right before I get on the plane, I put in the SIM card for the country I'm going to. Now as you know, I live in Vietnam, so I have a SIM card for here. It doesn't work overseas, so I pop it in just as I get on the plane, and then when I land in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi, that SIM card's going to work. My home SIM card is an actual eSIM in my phone, so nothing to do there, and I have foreign credits on that, so I can use data, make calls anyway. So that's a backup plan. Primary data is Vietnam data, of course. It's very good. Runs at about $6 a month, and I think I get 4 gigabytes a day or 6 gigabytes a day. I don't really know, but every day it resets. So straight away I'm ready for action when I get to the new locale. The third thing I do, my mobile phone is my lifeline here. I have raw dogged a few flights where I've done nothing but sit there and close my eyes, but I usually read books and things on the mobile phone, and so conserving battery power is one of the things that I like to do. So what I do is I turn off all the notifications for the main socials that track to me. WhatsApp, WeChat, iMessage. And so without those notifications going off, your battery lasts just a little bit longer. The third thing on my list is make sure I've got my wallet with those cards for the 3 banks, and make sure everything I need to take is in my wallet. I'm going to jump around on my list here because the other thing that's important is my passport. I put them in a set part of my travel on baggage. It's quite secure, and if I've got a wallet and a passport, I'm pretty good to go. So that actually gets written on a list, and I check that list before I jump in the car to the airport when I leave. The next thing I do is I take the opportunity to clean out all my digital devices. So I'm actually deleting any unwanted apps. You know, everybody wants you to download their apps, so generally I do. However, I take the chance to delete all those unwanted apps because I don't need extra apps, chewing up my battery. So I might go this way to get away from that road. Roads are popular, and popular things are not good for YouTube because they make noise. So I delete unwanted apps. The other thing I do is obviously I take a lot of photos and a lot of videos, and I don't use them all, and so my deleted photos and videos ends up being quite full, thousands of deleted photos and videos. So I take the opportunity to delete all of that back to zero. None of them, you know, they sit there for 30 days. You can get them back in theory, but I never have. And I delete them. That frees up any space on my phone ready for travel. Probably not a travel thing, but it's just something I have on my list every time I travel. The phone is as efficient as it can be. It's my lifeline as I travel through Southeast Asia. Thanks for watching Vietnam Steve. I've really been impressed by all the new subscribers. I've had a flurry of subscribers in the last week or so. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed and you like content like this, please subscribe. If you subscribe, it's the only way I know you get access to the latest entertainment. The other thing that gets the algorithm moving is if you like the video. So if you like the video, YouTube thinks that there's something useful here, and they punch it out to more people. Of course, you could also share the video to your best friend. Even my subscribers and viewers have one best friend, and that will enhance the reach. Of course, the thing that I like is the comments, and I get a lot of comments from people that are coming to Vietnam, already in Vietnam, dreaming of leaving the shit show where they are, and I love to engage with people through the comments. So please leave a comment. If there's something you'd like to see on the channel, then I'm happy to give it a crack. The next couple of things really relate to making sure I'm as efficient and frugal as possible. I suspend my home phone mobile service. So although I have an eSIM in the iPhone here, it will not receive calls in Australia. I've got an overseas package with them. It will still receive calls overseas and texts, which are necessary for banking, but of course if I'm in Australia it's not going to receive calls. But if I'm not in Australia, I don't need to receive calls. So that saves $1 a day basically. Doesn't sound like much, but when you're away for 90 days, that's $90. You do that a couple of times a year, that's actually beer and burgers. The second thing I do on the frugal save money aspect is I do have a Wi-Fi service back in Australia in my house there, and I leave that on because I've got cameras, and in fact I've got people living there on occasion. So I cut that back from high-speed internet, which is necessary for Vietnam Steve, to baby internet, which is necessary for the people that use my house. And that probably saves me $1 a day as well. In fact, I know it does. So now you're talking $2 a day. You do that for 90 days, it's $180. Do it a couple of times a year. It's a steak burger and beer. And the third thing I do is, when I don't have people there, obviously, is I turn off all the electrics. So the only thing that I leave running is the Wi-Fi, the camera, and the fridge. Nothing in the fridge, but does handle it better if it's left on. And so the hot water off, simply that one alone saves $1 a day. So you do that for 90 days, it's $90. You do it with the other two, you're looking at $270. You do that a couple of times a year, and you're having a steak burger and a craft beer. So just a couple of things you might want to consider when you're travelling overseas. Suspend your home phone service, cut the internet back to the slowest speed that you possibly can because you're not even there. You could actually delete the internet, but not worth the hassle. And the third thing is turn off the hot water. If that's all you do, that's going to save you $1 a day. If anybody knows what these white flowers are, by all means put it in the chat. I've just walked past a whole field of white flowers. This little one in front of me here is mint. I can actually smell it. I think it's mint. Oh, it's not mint, but it's something that goes in the salad, that's for sure. All right, moving right along. In the interest of keeping the battery on the iPhone working well, I also turn off a lot of things that chew up mobile data. So I've got a few things on my phone here that are data hogs, and I turn them off so that they will only update on Wi-Fi, because I don't really need them updating. So I turn off Outlook, OneDrive, Photos, I don't need them updating on mobile data, and any streaming services. So I don't actually have any streaming services, but I do on occasion use some streaming services from some friends, and I turn them off because I don't want them using mobile data. That it does tend to just burn up the battery. If I'm away or out of action while I'm travelling for more than 48 hours, I put an out of office, or I'm away from my desk type thing on my email. So I just don't even worry about the email. I just say, look, I'm travelling for 2 days. I'll check my email. And I only check email for up to an hour a day anyway, but I'll check my email in every second day or something like that. So that's just a Steve thing. You may not need to do that. Just another thing I do. I hope you like the hat today. I've had this hat for a while, but the problem is I never know what's the front or what's the back of the hat. It's got a thing at the back that clips up. It's got a tag inside the hat, but a press stud that'll make one part of the hat press stud up. But it's not in the center. So if I center the hat on my head with the tag at the back, the little bit that flips up at the back is sort of off center. So anyway, I need the hat today. I'm actually getting fried out here, and so it's absolutely necessary. The other thing I do on my phone is just a Steve thing. I reset my mobile statistics. So I know how much I download every X days. Just reset that back to 0, so when I get into the foreign locale I can easily keep track of what's the mobile data I'm using. Thanks for watching and staying with me. It's really appreciated. I'll go a little bit quicker because I know this is a long list, but hopefully some of these tips will be useful for you. And if one of them stands out as being something that you hadn't thought of and you're going to implement in the future, put it in the comments, because I'd love to know that I've been partially useful to somebody. Of course, I don't want my house getting burgled while I'm away, so I make sure that the camera is working. Sometimes I have someone living in the house, so I make sure the mail's getting cleared. If no one's living there, I get one of the kids to clear the mail. And of course, where I live, it's a tropical, or where my house is a tropical location, and we need the lawns mowed every 2 weeks. So I get one of the kids to go around and bribe them to make it look like somebody loves the house. Empty all the bins into the collection service that comes around, and then go and see my neighbour and just see if he'll bring the bins back in once they've been collected, so it doesn't look like the house is abandoned. He's always happy to keep an eye on the place for me. He's a retired guy and the neighbourhood busybody, so very useful to have that person living next door. I have a bit of a clean before I leave. I'm a clean freak, so I vacuum all the floors, I wash all the floors, and then I vacuum all the floors again. So I know that sounds odd, but when I leave, the place is pristine, so that when I come back I've got half a chance of feeling relaxed. I'm usually back there every 100 days. Usually got something to do down under, but there's no set rhyme or reason to it. 2 other things and then we'll wrap it up. One is I've got an external drive that I carry with me that contains a lot of footage and basically a lot of YouTube stuff, but I make sure that that external drive is packed as well. I'd hate to leave that home. And so that's another thing that goes in my bag. If you're someone that's going to take a lot of photos, you might need an external drive that connects to your camera, or some way of uploading all your footage as you go. You might notice I'm always loitering when I'm in the shade. It's quite warm here. Alright, last but not least, birds whizzing around here, so just stroll along and see if I can see what they're eating. Last but not least, my computer at home sets itself to come on. Basically that's just to keep it updated with everything it needs to be updated with. There's a lot of stuff piling into that computer from while I'm overseas. I'm linked up to that, and so every day at 4:30 that computer comes on. It logs into user Steve. It updates any data that I've updated to it over the interweb. It also updates all the emails. It makes sure that the latest software is installed, and at 5 PM it closes down, so I got all that automated. So that's it. Thanks for sticking with me. You've been watching Vietnam Steve. I'm out and about in Flower Park in downtown Ha Long. It's got a different name. It's named after the suburb that I can't pronounce. However, when I read the sign, it's called Flower Park, and no wonder. The flowers that are here are magnificent. My plan now is to finish off this 5 kilometres. Probably got another half an hour to go. Zip up to the Vincom Plaza and get myself the trusty coffee that'll put some energy back into my day. I'm really looking for lunch today. I'm not sure what I'm going to have. I don't like filming lunch videos because I usually have lunch with people, and that's just rude. But if I'm alone today, I'll try and film it for you. Have a good one, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next one.